Yes, we are live.
We've done it.
Live and direct.
Okay,
All three
Kyle.
of us are here. Yes.
We ended our last episode on a cliffhanger.
We
You
did.
You won an archery competition once?
Yes.
Tell me how you did this.
Okay, we are jumping right in here on the Captain's Log episode 60. I'm about to explain how I won an archery competition one time. I just got an email from Marvel Entertainment. So my church's camp, my
They heard you talking about archery. They want you for the Hawkeye Disney Plus series.
Exactly. Marvel, you can hire me. No, so it was a typical summer camp type of thing, and we had different activities that we could do throughout the day: basketball, field games, quiet games, archery. They also used to have riflery, which only lasted like a year or two, and then everyone was like, "Wait, there's 8-year-olds."
Like, maybe not.
That's not safe.
Maybe that's a no.
So they eventually got rid of riflery, but they kept archery for a long, long time. And yeah, it was something that I really liked. I really enjoyed it. And I remember, oh goodness, this was like the third year that I had gone to the camp. And so besides these activities we could do, I think, Melissa, I mentioned to you one time about the raids we could do and like raid court and all of that stuff on a previous episode.
It's that camp?
Same one.
Oh, I love your camp stories. Yes.
So we could do little like harmless pranks, and those were called raids. And every morning we had raid court, in which you could accuse people, like, we think it was you guys who did it, and if you're right, then they got some kind of punishment or something like that. If you're wrong, then you got the punishment, because you shouldn't falsely accuse people. And one of the other things you could do at this camp is you could issue challenges. Be like, we challenge the oldest girl's cabin to a game of basketball because we think girls are bad at basketball. And
I hope they kicked your butt.
Yeah, sometimes they absolutely would. And we got challenged one year to an archery competition. And it was like our three best archers versus their three best, and it was at the end we just totaled up all of the scores, and whoever had the highest score won. So I went last, and this whole competition was really close. It was one that like you couldn't tell exactly what the score was, but you knew it was like, this is neck and neck. We don't know what's happening. And yeah, it came down to me, and I think we had 5 shots total. And I not only hit the target all 5 times, they were all like within like a small range, and I got 2 bullseyes back to back.
Howdy.
So they were just like, this is stupid, we hate this, we're done, you guys win.
Okay, so important question.
Yes.
Are you still this good at archery?
I haven't done it in like more than a decade, so probably not.
Yeah, it's hard to just casually go out and do an archery when you have a free afternoon.
Yeah. No, it's...
I think we should make that easier.
Yeah, it was absolutely a lot of fun, but it was one of the things, we were the younger cabin, or one of them.
How old were you when you did this?
The youngest you could be at the camp was 8 years old, and the oldest you could be was like 13-ish, 13, 14, and that was like the regular camp, and then there was also like a teen camp. It was like for 13, 14-year-olds up through 18, you know? But I think I was like 9 or 10, and the cabin that challenged us was one of the older boys, so they were like 12 and 13-year-olds.
Oh.
And yeah, they were bigger, stronger. They knew they could hold the big, compound bows and stuff like that. And we just had to use the like more simple, regular ones because we were smaller and we weren't strong enough. And yeah, I happened to get 2 bullseyes back to back. They're like, that's it, we lost.
I feel like it's really like a jerk move to be the older boys at a camp and be like, we're gonna challenge these younger boys who we know like can't even hold the fancy bow. So I feel like they were like, we want an easy win, and this is what we're gonna do. And you guys proved them wrong.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's one of those things throughout the week. Like, yeah, you want to challenge the people younger than you, so you can get a good moral, morale boost. We can beat them, yeah. And
Like, how does that make
These
the little kids
children.
feel?
but then the little kids. So like the counselors would also do some conniving in the background and stuff. Be like, hey, I'm the counselor of the youngest boys. We want to challenge the oldest boys to a kickball game. But he would talk directly to the counselors, be like, hey, would you guys be willing to let us win for this one, and in exchange we'll give you this, or we'll do something like that. So they'd make it seem like, oh, you guys are really great at basketball, how did you do that? Oh my goodness, I tripped and fell, how did that happen?
What?
Yeah, so there was stuff like that, but with something like archery, you kind of can't really fake that unless they're just like shooting wildly off, and it's like that's not how it has to go down. So it wasn't an actual thing. Like, we challenge you. I think we had, oh god, this was a long time ago, so I don't remember exactly. Maybe we had beaten them at something else, and so they or like we caught them like trying to raid us, and we were like, you guys tried to put shaving cream in our shoes or something, and so they got punished and they were mad, and they were like, we challenge you to an archery competition because we know we can beat you. And then I was like, suck it.
You're like, psych.
Take that. So there you go. That's like one of my big claim to fame, that I won an archery competition at my church camp.
Well, I'm glad we finally know how that resolves.
Yeah.
Very curious.
Just another, beautiful thread in Kyle's life tapestry.
Exactly.
Like, I'm always finding out like wild things about you, and this is.
So that's
up
me.
there.
I'm Kyle
Yes,
Springer.
it is.
I am joined this week by Melissa Wilkinson, as usual. But
Yep.
also, we have Jess Bever here. How are you, Jess?
Oh, so tired because it's only 9:30 in the morning here, which I know a lot of people are going to be like, aren't you an adult? Don't you have a day job? I do. And I wake up for that, and I'm also tired then.
Yeah.
So I don't want to hear it. Also, I was up late last night because it's a Saturday. So
Mhm.
yeah.
It
But
happened.
otherwise good.
Tired.
It happened to work out that you could join us today because we normally record Friday nights. And
Yes.
I had a
which-
really long day yesterday, and I got home and I was like, I'm kind of feeling sick. I think I'm just gonna go to bed. And so I did. I was like, hey, can we record on Saturday? And so here we are. But I
Yeah.
took a good like 3 to 4 hour nap yesterday when I got
Wow.
home, and it was fantastic. Then I went to bed at 3 a.m. last night. So
Wow.
Oh,
yeah,
Okay.
I'm impressed.
lots of
Yeah.
sleep.
I was really glad that Saturday morning worked out. Sorry, I'm still waking up, so my voice is. I'm clearing my throat a lot because I found out that I had to go dress shopping yesterday because I found out on, I think, Thursday that this wedding we are going to this afternoon, even though it is in July, is formal attire, and I'm sure it'll be a lovely
Ugh.
wedding. But I was really not expecting formal attire for a wedding at the end of July, and I don't own any formal dresses.
Oh no.
So I had to go out and buy a dress, and I had to buy shoes, and traffic was really bad. So we went to a different store than I was expecting, and formal dresses are really expensive. For
Yeah.
those that don't know, like a floor length dress is like $200.
Yikes.
The dress that I got goes down to my knees and not on sale, it's 150, and then the sticker for sale said it was 69, and then when I actually, which I was like,
Nice.
that's a good deal, like I'm gonna have to do it, and then when I rang up it was actually about $38, and I was over
Champ.
the moon.
Hell yeah.
um
That is a good
so
deal.
that's how I spent my evening, and I was so sad. I was like, I would so much rather be recording the captain's log than out like buying a stupid dress, because I hate dress shopping. I'm not good at it. I feel like I put something on and I look at myself and I'm like, there's something about this that I just don't like the way it looks on me. So I made my best friend and my boyfriend go with me so that they could tell
Moral
me if I
support.
actually looked good or
Good.
not,
There you
which
go.
was helpful because I feel like I found some actual good stuff. Also, my best friend has really good taste in shoes. I was like, what about this one? He's like, that's gonna clash. Now, how about this one? And I was like, oh, that's classy. I got some gold sandal heels.
Oh,
So,
nice. I got a pair
yeah.
of those for a wedding I was in a couple months ago, and they're not comfortable enough for me to wear very often, but
Mhm.
boy, do I love them. They're clicky clacky. Like when I wear them and I walk on like a hard surface, I feel like I'm a
Don't you love that?
goddess. Yes, I
The best.
having loud shoes makes me feel
Yeah.
powerful.
So, yeah, I feel better now that I know what I'm going to wear, but it's also weird because I realized it's the first wedding that Cody and I have gone to where one of us has not been in it and or it hasn't been a family member. So we like all the weddings we've gone to were either there early or like we know exactly what's going on down to the minute.
Hmm.
This one is like Cody's childhood friend and her fiance who we don't know. I've met her like once or twice. I don't even know that I actually like know her. And I'm like, I don't know anything. I don't know their wedding colors. What if I got a blue dress? What if their wedding colors are blue? What if their wedding colors are like orange and I clash like I'm like so like
Nobody's
I'm like
wedding
there's so
color is
much stress
orange.
involved not knowing the person.
Yeah.
Because also the other thing is if it's formal attire, do you know what the bridesmaids wear? Formal attire. It's like what if the wedding colors are like the
What
same
if you
color
have
blue
the
that I'm wearing?
exact same dress
I know it sounds ridiculous,
as
but
the
it's
bride?
possible.
Just sneak right in.
I
You
would
get perks as a bridesmaid, though.
I feel like I'd have to leave. I'd be like, this is awkward. Somebody'd be like, so how do you know the bride? I'd be like, I'm just a guest.
I'm
Thank
just gonna
you.
wear a
Just here.
tablecloth around you.
Right? I'm just
This is
gonna
my extremely
wear
big
Cody's suit
shawl.
jacket so that nobody can tell. Yeah. It's just fine. It's
Mm.
fine.
Sounds
So
good.
yeah, really stressed out about that, which sounds dumb, but just really hoping I get there and their colors are like pink or something.
Yeah, I've never been to a
Hopefully.
wedding that was specifically formal attire. The last wedding I went to, one of our coworkers showed up wearing cargo pants. They're like the most stylish variant you could ever hope to have of a cargo pant, but more or less. And like at my
They were
brother's wedding,
classy
one of our
cargo
aunts,
pants.
that's where you keep your cigars and caviar. Like at my brother's wedding, one of our aunts showed up wearing a fringed leather jacket, and we're like, okay, all right, this is what we're working with here. Like I've always been to weddings where it's like, really, if you're there and you look passable, you're good. Nobody has ever made me wear anything fancy, fancier than I normally would, because I like to fancy it up. I love shopping and dresses and makeup and cute hairstyles and all of it.
I feel like I would end up doing one that's like, come in costume. This is like Halloween. Just I want to see Superman there. I want to see Sailor Moon there. I want to see come in costume.
Yeah, we told my best
Cosplay
friend
wedding.
his wedding has to be pajamas.
Nice.
has
That's
to
a
be
good
attire
idea
because-
too.
Because yeah, every other wedding I've been to, it's like wear a nice dress. I'm like,
Mhm, mhm.
okay. And so like I have nice dresses. I don't have formal dresses because I'm not
Yeah.
a teenager in high school
Yes.
going to prom. Like I do, okay, technically I do still have my prom dress, but it's ball gown style. Like I can't wear that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not
I
in
You don't
this
wear
heat.
that unless you're
Not in
going
this economy.
to a ball.
Yeah, like I can't wear that. So, and then it was this whole big thing. Cody's like, "Well, what am I gonna wear?" I'm like, "It's easy for you." And I was like, "Wear these pants with this shirt and this tie and that jacket. Like you're done." He's like, "Okay." It's
Good.
like, "This is
I
so
got
easy for you. Like you already have all these clothes."
Melissa,
So, yeah, that was fun.
Yes.
how has your week been? What have you been up to?
It's been good. Work has been very slow,
Did
which
the
I'm not
trees
used
magically
to.
reappear?
No, we're still treeless. Nobody likes it. We're just stuck living like this in this living
So
nightmare for
weird.
months until maybe they're like, you can have new trees, but the new trees will be baby trees.
Yeah.
Did they
Little,
take all
little
your
guys.
trees?
They took the trees out from around our office. You drive up to the building, like it just looks barren. It looks just stark and unfriendly. They didn't
Mm,
tell us. Just all roll in a Monday morning. None of the trees are there anymore.
and they're gone.
This has been a very big point of contention among us.
The Lorax showed up and he took them to a better place.
Exactly.
You deserve to roam in a meadow, not in an office park.
Yep, exactly.
Work has been weirdly slow because all of the scholars we work with, I think this is just their summer vacation time. You know, a lot of them are like professors, and this is when maybe they don't have a class, or this is like holiday season in Europe. And we have a very large European work base. And so a lot of them are like, well, I'm going on holiday. You know, I'm going to be in St. Petersburg or Oslo or who knows where for 3 weeks at a time. So everything is super
wish I
slowed
could
down for us.
Take a
Like, we can't-
vacation for 3 weeks at a time.
Right?
Exactly. Like we work with a British office and like people will just disappear for 2 weeks. And we're like, this is unfathomable. The
Like,
longest
did they get
vacation.
fired? Just come on vacation.
That's what they do. The longest vacation I have ever taken was 2.5 days. And it was for my coworker's wedding. So I was still doing something tangentially work related.
I
Yeah.
think you're overdue for a vacation.
Yeah. I
Well,
think so too.
I have all of these days I can use, but like where would I go? What would I do? I
Go to
don't
Hawaii.
like
That's what I did. It was
I
delightful.
got Hawaii bucks.
I don't either. Cody's grandpa does though, and so you gotta find somebody who's got Hawaii bucks, and you gotta
Exactly.
become good friends with them, and just
This-
wait for them to go. Do you want to go to Hawaii?
This is the goal. I'm really just saving up all my vacation time until I date a rich man and
Mhm.
he whisks me away somewhere. I can't
the
send
pros.
myself. I have to be whisked to a
Mhm.
vacation.
Somebody has to go come.
I don't have the resources to do a self-whisking to send myself anywhere I want to go. I just have to hope I really impress somebody with big pockets.
I mean,
Not cargo pockets.
not cargo pants.
I say there's an open invitation to my state, which is beautiful. If by whisking you mean you need somebody to ask you to come, like take a vacation, come hike and swim and view pretty mountains and go to the market.
I would absolutely love to. Like, a friend and I are rewatching the Twilight films.
That's a choice.
It is a choice.
We just start laughing. And
It is
go
a
quiet.
sincere, legitimate choice that we made as two responsible adult women. Because, like, she's a little bit younger than me, so this was like her big, like, middle school thing. She was obsessed with Twilight, but like fell off of it and like hasn't thought about it in a while. And like I only ever saw the first 2 movies. I didn't see the other 3. And we found out recently that a bunch of actors we really like now showed up in Twilight movies before we even knew who they were.
Mhm.
Like Michael Sheen is in there, Lee Pace, Rami Malek. We're like,
Pace is in that?
Lee Pace shows up, and I think like
Pace doing in Twilight.
the 5th one, maybe the 4th one. In the last book, which they
There's
split
5
into
of
2
them?
movies,
Goddamn.
there's a big meeting of all of these vampires, so the cast like triples. And I think that's where a lot of these people start coming in, and we're like, should we watch these again? Like, we just want to sit down and say, what are these in the year 2019 here as adult viewers? What are these? What place do these still serve, if any? in the pop culture landscape, and it's been legitimately really entertaining.
That's
Like, they're
funny.
not good, but they're entertaining. But they're all set in Washington, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, if nothing else, Twilight did such a service to making people want to go to the state of Washington.
It's beautiful.
Boy, howdy do I want to.
I love my state, and I don't ever want to move. I just want to live here my whole life. Some people are like, well, I want to go
Same.
somewhere else, and I'm like, no, I just want to live in Washington. Like, I love
Nice
it
there.
here.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, when I consider like, oh, I need to go on vacation or I need to take a weekend, I'm like, I'm just gonna go up to Leavenworth, the little Bavarian town, or I'm gonna go up to Seattle, or I'm gonna go see a concert at the like, it's the perfect place to do a little. I love Washington a lot.
It
I love
sounds so
Washington. You
good.
guys should all come visit me.
I would love to. I really want to go. You're always welcome to the beautiful, like, landlocked state of Missouri. Our landforms are quite different, but we have a lot of good, solid Midwestern charm.
And
So you
interesting
guys have hills
museums.
instead of mountains, right?
We've got the Ozarks. Largely the Midwest is flat. Like, if you go around us, like Illinois flat, Iowa flat, there are very flat parts of Missouri, but there's also gorgeous rolling hills. You
Mhm.
just got to pick the right path through the state. Like, going kind of southeast, you really hit some beautiful stuff.
Just as a Washingtonian, one of my favorite things is when you go to another state or somebody from another state shows you a picture of one of their mountains.
Yeah.
And I'm like, my mountain is like 14,000 feet or
I
something
know
like
this.
that.
I know the feeling.
So that's not a mountain. Like, we went to Hawaii on vacation, which is why I think the last time I was on was before I went on vacation because things have been kind of crazy. And we went on Mount Haleakala on Maui, and it's this like really big mountain. It's 10,000 feet, which is pretty up there, but like I think Mount Rainier is higher. I'm Googling it right now.
It's
Um,
I have family out in like Montana and Wyoming and stuff like that. So I've been all up in the Rockies and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And it was always fascinating to me to like be in that space and then come back east to Virginia, and they'll be like, "Man, aren't the Appalachian Mountains big?" I'm like, "No.
You're
These
like,
are
nope.
hills." Like,
Yeah.
these why are these mountains? These aren't mountains.
I do. I keep a sense of national scale about me, and I know the Ozarks are just potentially notable hills. They're footnotes in the world of mountains.
They're
Yeah.
foothills, but without a mountain.
Yeah,
Um,
just the foothills themselves. It's
yeah,
all
Mount
appetizers,
Rainier
no
is-
entree.
Sometimes the appetizers are the best part, though.
Yeah, it's like a
yeah.
seat full of mozzarella sticks.
Yes. Mount
That's what I
Rainier
was
is
thinking too.
14,411 feet. So, even like
boy.
I think Haleakala might be the biggest mountain in Hawaii, which is like all volcanoes, and our mountains are still bigger. But I love living in Washington, particularly where I live, because I go up and down I-5 frequently to go anywhere. And like, if you're going up I-5, you can see Mount Rainier from Olympia all the way through to Seattle and a little bit beyond. And if you're going down it, like either way, you see it. And so like I just see it every day pretty much, and almost every day. And it's like right there in front, like right, like here is, my windshield, and here is the cars, and then here's this big old mountain. And every day I'm just like, take a look at that fucking mountain. Like, that's a beautiful fucking mountain.
Nice.
So I really I haven't been to the top of it, nor like to it at all, but I really want to go now. Having actually done a little bit of hiking on Haleakala, just a very tiny amount, because the air is very thin up there, and I had a cold. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I love our mountains, and I love our state, and everybody. I'm just so walking tourism ad for Washington right now. Come visit.
Same. I do the same thing for Missouri. Like, we should just go visit each other.
Yes.
I will take you to all our I think we've got slightly more man-made delights than natural delights, but the whole place is
Those
great.
are fun too.
Yeah. We've one very
Speaking-
big casino.
Speaking of beautiful things, let's take a trip to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and talk about all of the Phase 4 movies that they just announced and all of that
yes.
stuff. But
I was
before we-
watching this last week.
before we do that, I actually have one quick thing share because I know we want to spend a bunch of time on the MCU. So yesterday, part of the reason I was so tired is because we had like an all day long work retreat thing. It was really stupid. It was at the botanical gardens. We didn't even get to go outside. It was stupid. But they gave us umbrellas, and I'm oddly really excited about this umbrella.
Botanical gardens have really good souvenir shop umbrellas.
Like this, it isn't even that. Like this is custom made for our university. They're branded and all that stuff, and they're actually really nice. Like I just have like a real shitty small one, but they gave us these. I don't know. Let's see if I can.
Oh, that's so big.
Looks like a nice
so it
umbrella.
is a big one. If you guys can see on the screen, it looks like it's multicolored and all of that stuff. But the weird thing is, it opens up backwards.
Open it. I want to see.
So this multicolored stuff is the inside.
That's the inside?
What?
Yeah.
What?
And I'm like I'm oddly excited about this.
That's so cool.
That's wild.
So that is my fancy schmancy umbrella, and I am way too excited about it.
Being from Washington, I own an umbrella. I don't know where it is. I don't use it. That's how you know. Like that's the ongoing joke in Washington State.
Like I know exactly what you mean because my ex was from out there, and she came to visit me once, and it started to rain, and it was not a bad rain, but it was enough that it was like, all right, this is gonna cause some problems, and we were about to leave, and I was like, oh, I need to go get my umbrella, and she just looks at me like, did she
just like put her hood up?
Yeah, she was just like, are you fucking kidding me? In this? This is nothing. I was like, I know it's nothing, but this is what we do here.
Yeah, in Washington, the way you know if somebody was born and raised and or has lived there for a long time is whether or not they have an umbrella in the rain. If they don't have an umbrella, they're from here, or they're a tourist who never bought an umbrella. Yeah. If they have an umbrella, like you're not from here, nor have you been here a very long time at all. Because we just like, it's been like a torrential downpour, and I've just like put my hoodie up and been like, well, guess I'm getting wet. Yeah. I like walked to my car. It's like, you deal with it.
Yeah, that's what happens. All right, that story has been told. Let's get on to what I've been waiting all week to talk about with you guys.
Yes, I was watching this last week, like not like I'm going to tune in and watch some sort of live feed. I mean, like checking my phone like every hour, like what time is it? What time is it happening? If it's that time in California, what time is it here?
What do we know now?
Yes.
Marvel Cinematic Universe Phase 4.
Talk about the best one first.
I mean, what do you think the best one is?
Love and Thunder. Obviously, for so many reasons. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so stoked. So for anybody who doesn't know, it's Thor, Love and Thunder. Taika Waititi is back directing it.
And writing, I believe.
Yes, yeah. And it's going to star Natalie Portman as Thor. Like, I'm beyond stoked.
That's... I think really amazing to me, considering how much she has been very public about how much she hates the MCU, right? And they must have been like, hey, here's a whole fucking dump truck full of money.
I think she didn't like some of the creative choices in the past, like they fired a director she was really hoping to work with or something like that. I don't exactly know. But I think I don't know, it's just evolved, and she's like, I like some of these. I can see myself coming back. I think we can be more on the same page now.
It's also just look at how much money they're making. Let's be honest. Cynical me is like, it's about the money.
Well, and like, who's going to say no to working with Taika? Like,
yeah.
That I'm so excited. Plus, Korg might be back then.
Yes.
Sweet.
Korg
Korg
is
is the
my
best.
Mhm.
He needs his own Disney Plus show. That's one of the ones that I want. Give me
I
a
want
Oh
it to
yeah.
just be
Korg
like a
show.
really cute, short little one, like it's advice with Cork.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah, some of
it's
those
in
like
an
20-minute shows or
armchair with
whatever.
like a cup of tea, just giving you like a little fireside chat for like 10 minutes a week.
it's him doing an advice podcast.
Oh my god, dear Korg. Oh my god.
Dear
Somebody
Korg,
write
I
Taika right now.
tried to start a revolution and blah 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 blah. Um, yes, I'm super stoked about that one too. That's the one that's the farthest away though that we
Yes,
know of.
unfortunately.
That one's coming out November 5th, 2021. And yes, we are getting Jane Foster as Thor. And this is not, if you're unfamiliar with the comics that's kind of based on, Jason Aaron is the one that has been writing Thor comics for almost a decade now. It has to be at least 6 to 8 years he's been writing this. And it's been amazing. It's been incredible. And Jane Foster ends up becoming Thor, but she's not like Thoress or Thorita or some
Straight up
like yeah,
Thor.
she is Thor.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so it's I think a little confusing for people when they call her female Thor, because yes, she is a female, and yes, she is Thor.
Yeah,
But,
Thor
like,
is almost
not
like
Lady
it
Thor.
becomes like a
Thor.
title he transfers. It's like it's my
Exactly.
name, but I feel like this becomes a title
He is still Thor
if you can
Odin's
wield the
son,
hammer. Yeah.
Mhm. Well, and
but you can also get the powers of Thor.
yeah, I had to explain this to my coworkers because they've seen like some of the MC movies, but they're not a huge freaking
Basically,
nerd
they are
like I
living
am.
under a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Little bit, yeah, a little bit. I love them though. And so I was explaining, I was like, it's Thor. And they're like, Thor can be a girl, and I was like, Thor has been a frog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were like, what? Because technically, if you
Thor's
look at
been
the
a
hammer, it's
horse-faced
whoever is
alien,
worthy
too.
of the powers of Thor gets to wield the hammer. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're worthy, you get the powers of Thor. So therefore, you are Thor. And so they were like, they had both seen Endgame, which I'm assuming everybody has seen by now. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
A little bit of
Um,
spoilers here on that one.
yeah. And so they were like, so Captain America was Thor for
Yes.
like 30 seconds. I'm like, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. You get it. Like,
Yes.
he was Thor in that moment. Like, if you can wield the hammer, you are Thor. You're not Frog Thor, Lady Thor. Like, you're Thor. Like, there's
Mhm.
also Thor Odin's son, the blonde Viking dude that we all know and love, but like, he's that just so I think people get confused because it just so happens to be his name. It would be less confusing if his name was
That,
like
but I
Leaf
think
or something.
also the tradition of
Bring in, like,
comics to
names.
have like the female counterpart. It's the exact
Ye-
same thing.
Yeah.
It's not Batman. It's
She-Hulk.
Batwoman. It's She-Hulk. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
even though those are often very different characters with very different motivations and origin stories and stuff like that, it's still just this kind of comic tradition to have this, oh, you're Thorita or you're Thor girl or
Yeah,
whatever the
yeah.
hell, you know.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, this
I'm-
is Thor.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see Natalie Portman play Thor because I feel like they did Natalie Portman a little bit dirty in the earlier Thor movies, and we all know that she can be so good.
I
And so
also
I think
want
she's
Kat
gonna really
Dennings
kick butt.
back.
Huh?
Yeah,
Oh my
Kat
God, she was great. I
Dennings, yeah.
forgot about her.
I want her back.
yeah,
She was
I like Natalie Portman, and I think she's got enough like gravitas to her to pull off the like Shakespearean aspects of Thor really well. I'm very intrigued to find out what Jane Foster does with this power, because one thing I like about her is that she's not also a warrior. She cannot fight on her own. She's a scientist, and that's what her strength is. I
Mhm.
As much as I love all these fight ladies, I really appreciate the ladies who are like, That's just not what my skill set is." I mean, you can put a suit like Pepper. She's like, "You can put the suit on me and I can do something, but like I'm a businesswoman. I don't punch people." So I'm very intrigued to see what kind of things she does with power that might not necessarily be like battle related or something like that.
Yeah.
Like she's like, I want
So
to dig into the ground and get a sample for the science experiment.
Boom,
Lightning
lightning the
bolt,
ground.
boom, giant hole. Okay, I can get down there and I can get that soil.
so
I
based
don't think
off
that
of
was
the
her branch of science, but still.
comics, based off of the comics, the whole kind of conceit of the story is that Jane Foster ends up with cancer, and she picks up the hammer eventually because Thor becomes unworthy at one point and he can no longer pick it up, and so she picks it up, and everyone is like, who is this mystery Thor that we keep seeing around? No one knows who it is. But the whole conceit is that when she picks up the hammer, all of the chemotherapy and stuff that she's been undergoing gets expelled from her.
Yeah,
So
the hammer's power like purifies her, and that includes I'm going to purify you of this radiation you've been exposed to.
Exactly.
Hammer doesn't know that's good radiation. It's like away with everything.
Exactly. And so when she lets go, she's back to having cancer, but as if she has never undergone treatment. So she can never, like, she's always slowly dying when she's human, but she's not when she's Thor. And so there's this whole idea of like, well, do I want to just be Thor forever, or should I be my normal self? Like, what should I do with that? But she can fight. She is just as strong and all sorts of stuff, and they're all just like, holy shit, who is this? She's kicking ass.
I'm Thor.
Yeah.
I'm also really interested to see like what route they're gonna take because of like how they treated Natalie Portman in the first Thor movies and how she just sort of like poofed away.
Disappeared.
I'm like, so how are you gonna take one movie and make her Thor? Like, is she gonna start out like, are we gonna get there real quick and boom, she's Thor and then she fights the bad guys, or is it gonna be like she's not Thor until the end of the movie? Like,
Well,
what are you guys gonna do?
Kind of what I'm wondering, because I don't know if Thor Odin's son is going to become unworthy again somehow, or what the deal, or if there's another hammer made, or
I watched a video, I think this was New Rock Stars on YouTube, and they were positing that the title Love and Thunder indicates that maybe he voluntarily transfers or shares his power out of love. Like this could very well be a story that treats love as its own vital, important, cosmic, legitimately powerful thing. Like, I adore you. You become subsumed with my power then in this case, or what's mine is yours. You're Thor now.
Going along with that, it could even be like, because in Endgame when he gave Captain America Mjolnir, it's this idea of like, hey, I can still be myself. I can still be Thor without necessarily wielding the hammer. So he might just be like, hey, if someone else wants to also be Thor, that would be sweet because I can go be in space and you guys can be doing this thing down here on Earth. So it might be something like that.
It's good timing, yeah, because the last time we saw him, he's like, I don't know about the whole like warrior god prince business. I might just want to be a guy.
Guy in space.
Well, yeah, and I think too, with how things went down, it'd be a little regressive to do the whole, oh, he's unworthy. Like we already had the is he still worthy or not, and it was deemed that he's still worthy. So like, let's not.
Yeah,
if we go back to that,
settled.
It's gonna be hard to do that, right? I think Taika could do it because he's Taika and he's amazing. Like we've kind of already done that, and so I do think I'm leaning more towards like maybe there's just more than one Thor, because it is a good point that he can be Thor without the hammer, because he's like the OG Thor. Because I don't think any of the other Thors can be Thor like without the hammer, but he's the OG Thor. He has the powers.
Exactly.
Other people.
Let's move on a bit because I know we can talk forever on all of these. So let's kind of go down the list here in order of how they come out. So the first one up is Black Widow. Is what they announced. That's coming out May 1st, 2020. and this is going to be set between Civil War and Infinity War. It looks like one of the main villains is going to be Taskmaster, and apparently there's a new character named Yelena, who looks like she has some kind of sisterly bond with, I think, according to the teaser trailer they showed at Comic-Con, Black Widow refers to her as her sister.
Just another Red Room graduate.
Could be. It could actually be her sister. We don't know. But yeah, I think we're going to learn a little bit more about the Red Room. Taskmaster, I'm super excited about. I
was not familiar with this person, but the description sounds really cool, that they are like a physical mimic to you. And like they can know exactly all of your movements to do something, but if they don't have your strength, it's like, well, I know how I would pick up a car if I could.
Yeah,
But
he's a mercenary that has the ability to, like you said, mimic your moves just by seeing it once. And so, it'd be a lot like fighting yourself or stuff like that, or having to start to think not like yourself, learn something new, or do the thing that they do in cartoons where they're just like, just don't think, you know?
yeah, you just like last minute.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. It's just with what happened in Endgame, I don't really know where this one's gonna go.
Yeah, I have had some feelings since they announced they were gonna do a Black Widow movie.
This is also the start of Phase 4, though, so I think we're going to be uncovering and learning something new in the thing of what will set it off. Who knows?
Yeah, it's a weird pick, but I trust that they are doing what they are doing when they are doing it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we'll sit down and be like,
they've earned that.
Now this makes sense. Got it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's got David Harbour in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I really, really hope that it's good, because I feel like we've been begging for a Black Widow movie for years, and then we were like, just give us like a solo Marvel female character, and DC beat them to it. But with a DC character, obviously. And so like when they were like, oh, now we'll do a Black Widow movie, I'm like, it almost felt like too late. Like I was like, okay, well, you've already like really messed with Black Widow and done some things I don't like, and we've already asked time and time again, and then DC gave us some really good, really good female standalone film, and now you're like, okay, I guess we'll give you a Black Widow film. And then with what happened in Endgame, I'm kind of like, I really, really hope it's good. I want it to be good, because I feel like they've done her dirty and they need to like make it better.
Yeah.
But I don't have faith that they will.
I'm sure there's a lot of like behind the scenes things that like kept it from getting put out there first. Like, it seems like they never rush anything. Everything is planned for a very long time. Scarlett Johansson's in a million things. I feel like she had a kid not too long ago. Like, it might have just not fit, like schedule wise, preparation wise, not fit anywhere until now.
Who knows? Next up, Falcon and Winter Soldier. This is the first of the Disney Plus series. This is coming out fall 2020, and it will feature Falcon as Captain America. What do you guys think of this?
I'm real excited.
Yeah?
Yeah. One of the big discussions, because I'm sitting in my nerd room to record this. You can see the things behind me. I'm a huge nerd. My boyfriend's a huge nerd. My roommate's a huge nerd. So before Endgame came out, we were like, okay, Chris Evans' contract is up, and Robert Downey Jr.'s contract is up. So they're both gonna die. We were like, they're gonna die. It's gonna happen. They're done.
Or be written off
and so we were like,
somehow.
we were like, okay, so who gets to be Captain America then? We're like, there's historically it's been Bucky or it's been Sam Wilson. Who is it gonna be? And I was like, I want it to be Sam Wilson, but I don't know that they're gonna make it Sam Wilson. And then
I thought for sure it was gonna be Bucky, but
because that's sort of what it seemed like it was leading up to a little bit. It was like bringing him back. And so
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what I thought. And then they turned the tables on me, and I'm very
And
happy for it.
I've heard a couple people still confused on why of just like, well, why didn't they give it to Bucky? That seems like that's what they were leading up to. And I like my read on that whole thing is that Bucky is still very unstable. He still doesn't
Yes.
really know who he is, whereas
Absolutely.
Falcon is much more stable. I don't even think that's like on his radar. For him, it's just maybe not necessarily believing in himself as much as he should. So I think this is the chance for him to step up, and that will be really good for him.
Yeah.
But
what?
I'm wondering how they're going to do it in this show. If he becomes Captain America at the start of the show, which I don't want to see happen. I want to see it kind of happen at the end of the show. Or if Bucky will pick up the shield sometime in the show and be Captain America in there. Who knows?
What intrigues me is that, of course, as the audience on this like meta narrative level, we know that a title is passed from person to person to person.
Sure.
But I think this would be our first instance within the narrative itself of this title could belong to more than one person. And I'm really intrigued, like, what is it in Sam Wilson that's going to make him say, I'm Captain America now, instead of I'm Falcon and I just also have this shield? Like, what makes him
I'm
decide?
Falcon. Or, I mean, I'm Captain Falcon. I mean, I'm Captain America.
Exactly.
Yeah, like what is going to make him say, now I change my name, now I change my identity, instead of now I honor my friend's legacy and I use his weapon, I use his shield.
Yeah. I think that'll be interesting.
I think it will be too. I feel like too, part of the reason Cap chose Falcon is because he knew that he was ready, and I think because Sam Wilson is the kind of person to say there is a gap, I was given this thing so that I can step up and fill it, so I
Yes.
will. Like personally,
Yeah.
I feel like his like what makes him decide he's Captain America now is that there's no other Captain America, and somebody's got to do it. And Captain America gave him the frickin' shield, so he's probably gonna be like, I guess I'm Captain America now.
Yeah.
He's got a good.
I-
He's got a very sense of a very something sense of duty. I'm missing a word there.
Yeah,
Big sense
no,
of duty.
I get it. Yeah, and I love that part about Sam. It's just that area that it's not like, well, the world needs a hero. Like, what makes him say the world needs another hero named Captain America specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping that he actually puts on the costume at the start and then just gets his butt whooped and he's like, well, I'm gonna go back to being Falcon for a little bit and then just by the end, yeah, totally earns it. Do you guys remember when they announced, I think it was all the phase like 2 and 3 stuff a couple like 5 years ago? And they announced the second Captain America, or was it the third Captain America movie? It was Civil War, was originally called Captain America, and I think the Serpent Society.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I think that was Civil War. I think the Serpent Society would be a great like antagonistic group for this show. Because it is another like secret underground kind of society, kind of like Hydra.
Yeah.
AIM would also be a good one to revisit. We've already seen them in Iron Man, but to see them come back somehow would be neat. Moving past that, though, we have the Eternals on November 6th, 2020. This is the one that I feel like is the biggest wild card.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going to be happening with this. The Eternals are these cosmic beings believed to kind of be the first beings. It looks like they were probably involved with the creation of the Infinity Stones, since they all seem to be color coordinated to match. we also know that nowhere in the Guardians of the Galaxy film is the
Yes.
like head of a big celestial, which is I think is what they are, or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm getting that straight. I think Ego may have been involved with them somehow, some way. I don't remember. But yeah, there are like these immortal cosmic beings. Sounds like they've been on Earth for a while, or somehow influencing events to happen certain ways. Beyond that, I don't really know what we're getting.
Yeah, this is similar to when Guardians first came out. It's like, oh, you picked out some real interesting,
obscure characters.
Yeah, and like, but different than Guardians, it's like real high concept things. It's not just like, oh, a talking tree, a raccoon. Wicked
Woo.
wacky. How strange. It's like, oh, you are a immortal, sort of kind of human, non-human kind of person. Like, it's so abstract. But I think this movie knows how abstract it is, and that might be part of the character's journey. Like, what does it mean to be immortal and like so far outside of the rest of life and civilization?
Yeah, I think certain themes like that will come up. I'm wondering if this is like, if we are going to kind of zoom out and see things from a different perspective, whether it's that like how they manipulated the Infinity Saga to happen the way it did, or if they were involved. Or if when we zoom out, we're gonna kind of see maybe what the next threat is going to be, because maybe they were preparing to defeat Thanos and unleashed something, and then it didn't go the way they thought it was going to go, and it's like, ah, shit. Well, now we unleashed this whatever the next big bad guy thing is. Who knows?
Yeah, I like the idea
I
of the
no idea.
super bird's eye cosmic macro, almost watcher view of everything.
Yeah.
I feel like now is the time to kind of pull that card on us.
If you had to give this a genre, what kind of genre would you want this film to be?
This feels more like a prestige drama sort of thing.
Okay. More
You
operatic?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, could be that even.
I want a space opera.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want it to be.
I feel like Guardians of the Galaxy is basically the space opera, all of that stuff, even though it's not really all that operatic. But
Yeah. I want like a big space opera.
Big.
Real big. I just want it to
big,
be, I think super dramatic, and
Yeah.
because there's supposed to be like, part of the thing that I was thinking about is it's got this like really good cast, right? It's got like Angelina Jolie and Salma Hayek and some really good people that I don't know and some really good people that I do know. But like they have to be these eternal cosmic beings, but they're still like, how are they going to make those actors feel like these eternal cosmic beings to us when they're us, they're people? And so I feel like making it big dramatic space opera would help, because then like if they're people sized, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Oh
like,
my God,
I want them to be
right.
literally.
You want a Kumail Nanjiani who's like 200 feet tall,
I want
floating
them
out
to be
space.
like in space in this.
Yes.
I want them to be in a setting we're not familiar with, so that they're huge.
They've
huge.
leaked pictures of their like huge, like monster like forms. One of them was the being that we saw in Guardians of the Galaxy when they went to the Collector to get the first Infinity Stone, and there was that like giant purple dude with the big hammer who was destroying worlds. That's one of them. That's one of the Eternals.
I want them to be literally huge. Yeah.
What they look like. They are that
bigger.
If nowhere is the severed head of a celestial being, and if they are in fact celestial being, like I'm expecting large scale.
Okay, so here's a little bit more information on that film, and then we can move on. According to an article on vulture.com, I've never heard of them, but here we go.
It's a real legitimate news source.
It says that and centers on a group of immortal aliens who have lived on Earth for 35,000 years, protecting humanity from evil doers known as the Deviants. Now, I looked up the Deviants according to the Marvel Universe, and if my thing will zoom in here, because in the super small text, it says the Deviants are an offshoot of the evolutionary process that created sentient life on Earth, instigated by the alien Celestials, and wage war against their counterparts, the Eternals. According to the account of one Deviant in the 2006 miniseries, the Deviants were created as a delicacy to be consumed in mass by Celestials at periodic intervals. Blah, blah, blah. Eternals possess godlike powers. Blah, blah, blah. I'm wondering... Oh, here, see, with each member of the race possessing some random physical and or cosmic mutation, this is by celestial design, never repeated with the subspecies. Extremely mutated and formed deviants are referred to as mutates, and some of these blah, 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 blah. I'm wondering if somehow these deviants are like the ancestors of what will eventually become mutants, because we know those are in the works. They're starting to plant the seeds. That was one thing they had said, like, we are working on it,
the horizon.
It will happen.
You see that little tip of a mountain out there, my friends? That's the dang X-Men.
My theory, and my theory still might not actually be wrong, right? If the Deviants are somehow created by the Celestials or the Eternals or whoever, they could have been created out of the Infinity Stones, like using that power and stuff like that, which my theory was that when they used the stones to do all the snap, there was always that big burst of radiation and stuff like that. What if, because there were like 3 of the snaps on Earth, what if it creates a new wave of these mutants? Or these so-called deviant type of things, and that's how mutants kind of get started. That could be interesting.
I also had 2 little quick ideas while you were reading that thing
that
I want to throw in the ring. One of which is, I hope they do the thing that I love when happens. So if these Eternals have lived on Earth for like 35,000 years, I want to see the thing where you meet these Eternals and you realize that our society has been viewing them as gods the entire time. Like the thing that you see where it's like, oh, this Eternal is Anubis, which people also view as, like, or, like the Roman and Greek gods. This is who they were. They were real. They've been real the whole time. I love that shit.
Yes.
Also, Marvel has been doing this really interesting thing lately where it's not clear if the good guy is the good guy or if the villain is the villain. And it sounds sort of like when you were like, these Celestials have created an entire race just to eat. I'm like, oh, are they going to be good or bad? And is it going to be clear if they're good or bad?
Well, so yeah, I guess according to that information, it was the Eternals versus the Celestials. So if Nowhere is the severed head of a Celestial, Nowhere could potentially be a character in this film, and we see him get his head chopped off by an Eternal somehow. That could be neat. But yeah, if there is some kind of conflict between the two, we don't necessarily know who's on what side yet.
Well, and if they've been influencing the events of Earth, it brings in the question, like, how could they let everything that happened happen if they're these eternal, amazing beings who can stop things? Like, are they going to present themselves as heroes? And then if they do, are they really heroes if they let all these horrible things happen?
Yeah, because they might end up being more like the Watchers. We've seen the Watchers, but they're not being utilized. really.
Mm-hmm. And if
So,
they're,
who knows?
it's not just Earth, it's like the cosmos. So maybe it's like when people are like, Captain Marvel, why weren't you helping? And she's like, I am on the other side of the galaxy, my friend. Maybe
Yeah.
they're like, oh, we just turned our backs for a while and we missed World War II. Didn't
Mhm.
that one slipped under the radar? Sorry,
Whoops.
guys.
I can see Camille Nanjiani being like, guys,
I
something
am
bad happened.
very
Half the-
intrigued
half the
how
life
he
of the
fits
universe
into
is
this.
gone.
Because
Um,
he definitely has dramatic chops, but his where are they going to put those comedic chops
yeah,
in there?
this has to be some
how
comedy in there too.
when and
We
how
know who
will this
some
be
of
funny?
Yeah, we know who some of the actors are playing, but
Mhm.
we don't know all of them. Like when I
Yeah.
looked it up, it showed him in the cast. It didn't say who he was.
I
Mm.
I feel like they've announced it.
I feel
Oh,
like they
maybe they
did.
haven't. I missed it. That was my quick Googling here while trying to look like I was still paying attention.
Um,
You definitely had a name that sounded like, yeah, I bet that's a space god. Yeah.
I bet that's a space god. So moving on from that one, we have Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, which comes out February 12th, 2021, which is Chinese New Year, if I'm not mistaken.
That's neat.
And yeah, this is
Oh, way to go, Marvel.
Marvel's first like Asian-led film. A whole bunch of Asian actors, Asian writers, and directors. This is the film that my dad is most excited about because he loves Shang-Chi.
Oh.
And I'm really interested in seeing this because this is gonna enter another character into the MCU that is a lot like Hawkeye in the sense that he does not have superpowers
Yes.
per se. He is just really damn good at kung fu. And yeah.
I like this. I am excited because this is coming out right between Eternals and WandaVision and Doctor Strange. Like, I love that they're like, and here's one more just normal street level person among every other wacky metaphysical cosmic thing we have going on. Like, here is another grounding point for
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think that one's going to be a lot of fun. I really want it to actually be a kung fu film. I would love that. Or like big action scenes like we got to see in Daredevil in that hallway fight scene, some crouching tiger, hidden dragon stuff. Just mix it all in there. I want all of that. It should be fantastic. I'm super excited about. He's also I think he's going to be a good asset to have, especially if we're kind of building a new team of Avengers or a new generation to be the one to train them all to fight.
Can I ask you how old is this character traditionally?
I don't know. Let's see. Let me look it
Because
up.
I was thinking recently, like there's Spider-Man, and then there's like a bunch of adults that are more or less kind of around the same age as each other. And I'd really be intrigued to see,
It's just like their
I'm
bodies.
25 and I'm a superhero. Like something like somebody that is like just on the edge of young adult. Not
Who's
like a
"Holy
Spider-Man
shit, I'm a
young
superhero
adult,
now."
but like an adult who is young, you know?
Yeah. Somebody who's
Like-
like, I just graduated college and I guess I'm a superhero.
Yeah, like I don't know if I can name any other 20-something superheroes.
I don't know how old he is. I'm not seeing it here. The timeline in Marvel Comics is always terrible. They have this thing called the sliding timeline or however, or Marvel time. But yeah, so I think I'm not sure, but he has helped train some people. I remember there was a couple issues of Spider-Man where he helped Spider-Man develop his own brand new form of martial arts because Spider-Man had lost his spider sense, which is what helps him to fight because
Right.
Peter Parker's in high school. He's not a martial artist right? You know, like
Yeah.
he doesn't actually know how to fight, but with
He's
his
just a kid.
spider sense, he knows what to do. But if he loses that, then he's a lot more helpless. And so he was like, I kind of need to actually learn how to fight. And so yeah, he helps Spider-Man come up with like some kind of weird spider foo thing.
Mm.
I don't know. But yeah, so I'm fascinated with that, and again, my dad is super excited about that. He loves Shang-Chi. My dad was telling me in his comics a lot. He barely talked. It was more of you could hear what he's thinking.
Okay.
That's what you saw. So he would be this silent martial artist, and you would get this like exposition of, oh, he's using this style, which means if he puts his left foot there, I can do this or beat him that way and do
I like
this,
that.
and that.
I'd like a narration heavy movie like this. Yeah.
It might be interesting. Do you guys have anything else to say about Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings? I guess we've seen the Ten Rings before in Iron Man 3. We've heard of the Mandarin, but apparently the Mandarin that we saw in Iron Man 3 was not the real one. And I think there was that short. There was a Marvel short where Ben Kingsley's character was in jail. And they were like, the Mandarin wants to talk to you or something like that.
Never heard of this character, so I'm excited. But yeah, I don't know anything about him, so I'm just like, well, this will be neat.
Yeah, he's street level Marvel.
I appreciate the representation.
If
nice.
Daredevil's in Hell's Kitchen, Shang-Chi is most likely in Chinatown.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, WandaVision is coming out in spring 2021. This is going to take place after the events of Endgame. And we know it is going to be focused around the romance between Scarlet Witch and Vision. But we don't know exactly how that's going to work. They also said this is going to be really weird.
I'm excited for just a weird romance. Those are my two favorite things.
I heard an interesting take on this that I would kind of really love to see. So I think when we talked about all the Disney Plus shows when they announced them, I brought up that there is a run on the Vision comics by Tom King and Gabriel Walta that is fantastic. It's just called The Vision. It's 12 issues long, and it kind of has this Breaking Bad thing going on with it, where they are almost inadvertently just digging themselves deeper and deeper into this hole, and things just get worse and worse and worse, where they're trying to seem like they're normal and we can live in society. We are normal people. We can do this. I swear. And no, I did not just murder someone. And God damn it, I'm normal. And and stuff like that. And so I would love to see that adapted. But the take that I heard was, what if it's switched? What if it's not Vision who's trying to keep things together? What if it's Scarlet Witch? And because Vision died, she helped remake him, because maybe supposedly his consciousness is still in Wakanda when they copied it. So I'm wondering if she's wanting to try and force this normal lifestyle, and things just keep going wrong, and things just get, by the end of the show, are just out of control, which I think would be fascinating.
I also wonder, they said it's going to be weird. A lot of people are theorizing that it's going to be her, dealing with PTSD kind of thing. And with losing Vision, and I wonder if she, creates a Vision in, her imagination almost,
and
but obviously a little bit more than that, because she's but what if she creates this Vision that's not real, and she's like, oh, everything is fine, and everything and things aren't out of control crazy, but it's it's weird because she's pretending that he's still there when he's maybe she's just lost it, because we saw at the end of Endgame she seems okay, but she's fucking pissed.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
and you see like how powerful she is, and it's like I wonder if there's not something that like just makes her snap, and she's just like maybe finally realizing the toll of like losing her brother and losing vision, and she's just like loses it.
Yeah.
Could be one way they do
Exactly.
it.
We also know two other things about this show. One is that it will star Monica Rambeau. We will
This
see
is
her.
intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm
Excited
really
about that.
I'm really interested how she of all people gets into what
Right?
this is. Like I
Just
love
how she
her.
gets involved. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
like all these things put
we
together and
saw
just
her
like
as a child.
draw me the connecting line. Yeah, what is it?
Yeah, we saw
Mhm.
her as a child in the Captain Marvel movie.
Mhm.
She kind of helped Captain Marvel pick out the colors for her suit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Monica also grows up to have superpowers, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think she also at a certain point takes over the mantle of Captain Marvel for a short time. I know she is her own superhero, but for some reason, I'm thinking there's a short time where she takes over the mantle for a temporary piece of time. But so yeah, we know she's going to be in the show, so that'll be interesting. From everything they said, it also sounds like this one is going to be very, very important in terms of the MCU, of like what happens with the show, and
Yeah.
things that do happen in the show will directly affect the events of the next film, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
This is the one I am the most excited for.
Yeah.
Like this is up there with the Guardians 3 for me. It's the thing I am the most pumped for.
What
Yeah.
if like Wanda in her dealing with everything, I think, am I really loud? No, okay.
No, you're
What
fine.
if Wanda, like in her dealing with everything and going maybe a little bit nuts, what if she just like accidentally really messes up and like her powers explode or something and she like
Creates
screws up the
multiple
multiverse or
universes or
creates a
something.
multiverse, and then Doctor Strange is like, damn it, I have to go fix this.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or something along those lines.
almost wondering if she's one of the villains of
Mhm.
Doctor Strange.
Because
Yeah.
Marvel's been doing that thing where it's like nobody is black and white, nobody is good
Yeah.
or evil. They're somewhere in between.
It could
They're pulling at
almost
Harry
be
Potter.
their version of House of M, where she
Mhm.
kind of creates this alternate universe where everyone is happy and all of that stuff, and by the end of it, that's when she screams no more mutants, and all the mutants die in the comics, or most of them do. So I'm wondering if this might be their version of that, but they also said this is going to be the first horror film in the MCU.
like,
This is going to be
what?
spoopy. This is going to be
Boy,
spoopy, and
howdy.
I'm so
I am-
stoked for this.
I am so excited for a superhero horror film.
Yes.
Especially one that's
Please.
this like cosmic and trippy and metaphysical.
That's what I thought the
Probably
first
gonna scare
Doctor
the shit out
Strange
of all
was
of
going to
us.
be because of
Yeah.
who was directing it. I think he had been known for a bunch of horror films, and I was like, is this going to be a psychological horror film? I am so in. This is
I want
great.
And now,
And then it wasn't really, and then I was like, all right, it was okay. But yeah, if they actually make this one a scary film, hell yeah. And I hate horror films.
same.
I
am scared
love
pants,
them.
but I will go see it.
Yeah.
I love them, and I love intersecting that with this superhero wizard surgeon.
Yeah.
Just all of
Um,
this together.
I also really like the idea of Marvel branching out and doing MCU movies that fit other genres, because one
Yes,
thing that a lot of
absolutely.
people complain about is how
They're
there's
all the
this
same.
like overwhelming amount of comic book movies, and there are a lot. And so like if Marvel can get good at making it so that you can actually watch one movie and you don't have to watch 5,000 others,
Mm-hmm.
Which
which
they
I don't think it's going to
technically
be
do.
for, but yeah, but it doesn't always make sense. But yes, like if they could get just a little bit better at that and then start being like, this is a romance film, this is a horror film, like that's how they take over the world.
Yeah.
Honestly, like is
Absolutely.
that. Also, my
Absolutely.
roommate loves Doctor Strange, which is funny because his name is Steven with a V, not a PH.
Mhm.
And so he's super stoked about it, and we're super stoked about it. And I really like still who they picked for Doctor Strange. I think
Yeah, he's
he's
good.
great. It's gonna
He's
be good.
doing such a great job. Like
So-
I like Doctor Strange a lot, and then like Infinity War, it's like,
I
Oh,
was like,
you
oh my
are
god, I love
among
it.
my favorites.
So I'm since we are supposedly getting to see the multiverse in that film, I'm wondering if they're gonna show a bit where it's Loki Sorcerer Supreme, because that was in the comics for a while.
love
That would be
it.
fantastic. But I or open up the idea that there are more Sorcerer Supremes, like each universe has their own Sorcerer Supreme. I think that would be neat. But Spider-Man Far From Home kind of introduced us to the idea of the multiverse, though it wasn't clear on if it was actually true yet. Because he does mention, like, oh, this is Earth 616 and I'm from Earth, I think he said 833 or 833, which is the but yeah, but if you know what those universes are, you know that that's a lie, because the Marvel 616 is where the comics take place, and the MCU is in like Marvel 19999, and so we don't know. We also know that 833 is Marvel UK, which is also in the comics, and so it's this idea of like, okay, there could be a multiverse out there. We don't know specifically, but that's a fun Easter egg for the people who do know these like designations of the multiverse stuff.
Well, and what I think is interesting is, gosh, I forget her character's name and her actor's name. She's really white and pale, and Mark Ruffalo goes to talk to her.
Oh,
in
the ancient
Endgame.
one.
Yeah, the ancient one.
Tilda
Thank
Swinton.
you. Tilda Swinton, thank you.
Yeah.
She basically sort of confirms that there's a multiverse,
Yeah.
but there's also like still some debate about it. And what I think is interesting, can I like spoil things for Spider-Man Homecoming? If you haven't seen Spider-Man
Far
Homecoming,
From Home?
maybe stop listening.
Yeah, spoilers
Far
for
From
that
Home.
film.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, because it's been out, and I think you guys did a reaction, a spoiler cast for it.
Yeah.
Anyways, so, but what makes this really, really interesting is that like Nick Fury is all like, yeah, this is what we know because this guy told us. But at the end, we find out that's not Nick Fury.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's Talos, who probably, as an alien, knows that there are multiverses. Like, I feel like they probably have a better grasp on that than we do.
I feel
So,
like
like, is
if
that something
anyone
that he
else
shared?
knows there's a multiverse out there, Nick does know, which is maybe why he's potentially setting up Sword.
Is that why he's like on his little vacation? Like,
Potentially,
but it's just
who knows?
the fact that it's not Nick Fury throws a huge wrench in things.
Yeah.
And so it's like, does Shield know for sure or not? Or I guess not. Are they even Shield anymore? Do the people know that it's really that? Is that something that like Talos has shared? Is Nick Fury just taking a vacation because he's super done, or does he know? Like,
well,
yeah.
at that end, he says get back to work. So they are working on something, which is why people are like, oh, he's probably making that sentient world observation research division or whatever it's called, whatever the acronym is. He's making Sword. So that could be interesting. Let's move on to Loki, which is coming out spring 2021. This is another of the Disney Plus shows, and it's Loki. It's what we know and love.
Yeah.
This is.
I'm impressed with.
What was that?
I'm impressed that they got him back for it.
Yeah.
God, I can't remember anybody's name.
Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, like he's in it, right?
Yeah,
like,
he is the main guy.
It's everybody.
He's Loki. It's like, how do you get somebody like that? Be like,
So,
I want you to do a TV show.
Here's what's interesting about these TV shows. It's possible that they're not doing second seasons with a bunch of these, and these are just going to be one-off. Hey, here's 6 episodes.
Oh,
yeah.
Called Falcon and Winter Soldier. So yeah, down the road we might get a Korg TV show if they want to, right? We can get. We could get something else. We could get a show that is low-key Sorcerer Supreme. It's just like they have a platform to do these television shows that could be ongoing if they want, or it could be these like prestige mini series. Here's 6 episodes, and that's it. And that's kind of the way they've been talking. That sounds like that's what they're doing. And this is supposedly going to tell the story of what happened to Loki after he got the Tesseract in Endgame and disappeared to wherever he disappeared to. And so I think it's important to note that it is that Loki. He just got the shit knocked out of him by Hulk, who was
he hasn't had that growth yet.
Yeah, he's not the one that we saw in Infinity War, who died there. He hasn't had all of that growth. So is there some kind of redeeming arc? Is there something that sets him off to grow like he did? Or is he just gonna be living it up in Vegas and causing mayhem?
I like all versions of it. I like if it's just Loki misadventures. Straightforward, big box of fun, all the Sunday toppings, there you go.
Yeah.
But I also like, what is he going to wander into that is going to kind of soften his edges up? This is a Loki who still
Teach him
has
something,
This is a Loki who still has a mom. Like, one of the big things in the second Thor movie is their mom dies, and Loki is destroyed by it. This is the most emotional we've ever seen him.
Yeah.
Is he going to accidentally wander into that universe or meet another version of him? Or that's one of the biggest ripple effects on his life, is losing Frigga. And this is a version of him that didn't have that happen to him.
Yeah, and this is also a thing with the multiverse kind of being introduced. What if we see him from a different perspective of something that has happened in Doctor Strange, where he goes to some alternate reality, and we see Doctor Strange's perspective in the film, but in the TV show we see Loki's side, and he's sneaking around behind the scenes. That would be fantastic.
Yes. I would love this.
So I'm super excited about that. However, I do have to say I think that logo is garbage. It is awful.
I understand the concept behind it, but I think the execution needs some work.
It's so bad. I think it needs to be a lot more unified. It almost has that ransom note type of vibe, but they're all old English style scripts, stuff.
Yeah,
It's this doesn't work at all. This is not looking good. I think I almost would like it more if it was actual ransom note, cut out letters, and that is the logo. But I would just much rather it be one unified thing. This could also be sorry, one more thing, Jess. This could also be where we see female Loki, because he is a shapeshifter, and in the comics he has been a female from time to time. We could also see Kid Loki from Young Avengers and stuff like that.
We could see so many Lokis.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
You could just be a cat if you wanted to. Anything you want.
Oh my god, I would love that. So I looked up the logo, and I'm seeing the one I think you're talking about, where the L is really big, and then the O is smaller, and then the K is really big, and then the I is smaller.
Each letter is a different font.
And then there's another one that I'm seeing that looks like it might be legit. All the letters are the same font. The L is this nice, it's got a swoop. They're all the same size. And then in the center of the O is the Tesseract. And I wonder if that's the official, that might be the title screen for it.
I'd like that one.
So I'm seeing that one multiple places. So I wonder if they actually came up. I don't know.
I typed in Loki logo, and I found one that I think is the L from League of Legends, the O from Overstock.com, the K from Kellogg's with Kellogg's scribbled out, and then the I from The Incredibles, and it's so bad.
I would just want to say that I think the Doctor Strange logo is my favorite out of all of these. They don't have anything to show us but these title cards. So I've looked at these title cards in
Yeah,
every single
I
video, and I'm like, that Doctor
so
Strange one really kills it on the typography. I think that one's the
the
winner.
there are two fan-made Loki ones that I see. That is the one you're talking about. So that is a fan-made one,
Oh,
Jess with
damn.
the Tesseract.
That's
Then
upsetting because it was good.
there's another one that looks at the O looks more like an ornate leaf type of thing. It looks like a branch or something, or a snake coming off of the L. It looks neat, but yeah, it's fan made.
Ooh, the Doctor Strange
Unfortunately,
one does look really good. And it looks
Yeah,
like it's
it
a horror
does.
movie title card.
yeah,
Yes, it does.
yeah.
That's good.
So after Loki, then we get maybe the strangest, besides Doctor Strange's film, the strangest addition to the MCU, which is also not really an addition to the MCU. This is What If. Marvel's What If, and this is going to be an animated series coming out in the summer of 2021, and I am stoked for this.
This seems so much fun. Jeffrey Wright is going to be like hosting the thing as Uatu the Watcher specifically, or just a
It's
Watcher.
as a I don't know if it is Owatu. It might be, but yes, it is being hosted by one of the
Love Jeffrey
Watchers,
Wright.
similar to Tales from the Crypt or the Twilight Zone. But this is not necessarily all horror stuff. This is just alternate realities. What if this
Thor was a
happened
frog.
instead? Yeah, what if Thor was a frog? What if Agent Carter was the one that became Captain America? Which I've heard. I don't know if it's confirmed that is the pilot
I think that is the
episode.
first one. Yes.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Oh my
and it's
God.
just it's a chance for them to just explore all these stupid like what if what if Howard the Duck leads the Avengers?
You have
I
my
don't know.
attention.
Yeah, like
I
or they could even do like, oh, I would fucking love for them to do some more of the animated stuff where like what if like the Wolverine voiced by Steve Bloom was in there and stuff like that. They have so much that they could do. So much.
Yes.
I think they're gonna do some really good stuff that really makes you think about like what if the Marvel universe were different in this way? And then I think they're also gonna do some really dumb stuff because like why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
it's gonna be so great. And I think
What
so
if
many
Howard the
people are
Duck
gonna
was
get
Deadpool?
exactly. And so many people are gonna get so mad about all of it. Like that's one thing, which like whatever. But there are gonna be so many people who just are like, well, in this what if episode this happened, and I hated it, and I think it's stupid, and I don't like Marvel anymore. And there are gonna be some people who are like, I think that Peggy Carter should be Captain America forever. Like, and there are gonna be people who are like, well, you can't because Captain America is Steve Rogers. And there are gonna be people who are like, well, then what if? Like,
I feel like that
it's
just
gonna
comes
happen,
with
and
the
we're just gonna have to let it happen.
territory, and it's gonna
gonna be
happen
funny
with
to watch.
every movie, every
Oh, yeah.
TV show, every comic book that they put out there. That stuff is always gonna happen. But what's neat is that all of the people who play these characters in live action is returning to voice their characters in this. So Peggy Carter is going to be played by Haley Atwell. If Thor is in there, it's going to be like I think that is that too. Like it's gonna be fantastic. I think this is gonna be a lot of fun. I think this is gonna be hilarious. I think this is just gonna be a wild ride.
Yes.
I'm excited about it.
So after that, we then have the Hawkeye show, which comes out on Disney Plus in fall of 2021, and this is going to explore his time as Ronin, as well as him kind of fostering Kate Bishop, which I'm super excited about.
I am so stoked for this one because I feel like when they introduced Ronan into the MCU, there were a lot of people who were like, I hate this. And there were a lot of people who were like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. And I'm one of
Yeah.
those, this is the best thing I've ever. I loved the haircut. I loved the tattoos. I
Mm-hmm.
loved the angst and the new outfit. Like,
People were calling him Mohawk Eye because he had a mohawk.
like, I want more Ronan. And so I'm excited to
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
I want to see more of his time as Ronin, and if potentially he was more of a villain before his time in Avengers, because that's what
Yeah.
he was in the comics. He was a villain at first, but with him also shepherding Kate Bishop to be the next Hawkeye, I'm wondering if it's gonna be more through flashbacks that we get to see his time where he was being bad and killing people and all of that stuff, and him being like, yeah, don't turn out like I did. Don't do what I did, kids.
Yeah, and I'm interested when in his life Kate Bishop shows up, if she is somebody he encountered and was kind of mentoring during those 5 years where he didn't have a family. Because I think it's just interesting that this man who already has 3 kids is like, and I will mentor this girl. And
Another
like,
kid.
you're what about the daughter you already have? How's she doing, huh? So I just not that he couldn't. Maybe he's like, all right, everybody on the
Kate
bus.
Bishop, I challenge you to an archery competition.
It's just like Dad's got arms big enough to hug everybody at once. But like, was
Girls,
this
no
like
fighting, girls.
like did this relationship start while he was absolutely
You don't know, yeah.
alone? Yeah.
I think
What
that's
would-
going to be interesting to see. I hope they pull a lot from Matt Fraction's run on the comics, which I still haven't read, but I know that a lot of people love that, and I hear a lot of people being like, we want to see Pizza Dog. Whatever you do, show
Any
us
dog.
Pizza Dog.
We want the duck. What would really warm my heart is if this does take place in the 5 years that he's like utterly alone and so becomes Ronin, and then he meets Kate Bishop and she like sort of brings him back to being a good person.
Yeah, that
And
could be that too.
like he one of those things, because the dynamic where it's a mentor who doesn't want to mentor a kid because they're like, no, I'm bad and you shouldn't hang around me, but the kid's like, no, I'm sticking around and you're fucking mentoring me no matter what. I love that, and I think that would just like good warm fuzzies.
The like badass father who doesn't want to be a father. The like lone,
He's like, I
lone
already
wolf
had
and
kids,
cub.
I lost them.
The
she's like,
Logan movie. I want it to be inspired by that at times, but then I also want it to be super fun and being like him taking out the trash and doing stupid normal stuff that was in the Matt,
like hitting a dog.
Just like, what does Hawkeye do with a dog? That's what I want to see.
Right?
I
How
hope
does
he is a
take care of
friend.
dog?
Can't teach that to shoot bow and arrow, so
Yeah. And then after that is when Thor: Love and Thunder comes out. I think that's the best logo of
Oh, yeah.
all of them. That is
Beautiful.
a great one. But we already talked about that at the start, because that was that we're super excited about that. That is basically what's ending Phase 4 is Thor: Love and Thunder.
As it stands now, it's all of this takes place over such a short
2 years.
Yes, and I think the past phases have stretched out much longer. And then I've heard people say like there are movies that were never officially slated. Like it's not like MCU Phase 3 had, and here's Black Panther, and here's Spider-Man. Like those things were added later when things lined up correctly, or it's like, okay, now we can reveal to you here this thing is. So there's room for more. There's room for like Black Panther 2, more Ant-Man and Wasp, Guardians 3, whenever it shall be made.
Guardians 3 is happening. We know that Black Panther 2 is happening. Word on the street is that apparently part of the deal for Marvel to get Spider-Man was that I think something to do with the second movie had to make over $1 billion for them to make a third one. Otherwise, Marvel wouldn't be allowed to use him anymore. I don't know how true that is. That's all hearsay.
Didn't it make that much?
But yes, it just recently hit the
It,
$1 billion mark. So if that is indeed true, it sounds like we will at least get him for one more film.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when is the first thing of Phase 4 supposed to come out?
Black Widow comes out May 1st, 2020.
So, like, there's totally a chance that we're gonna get something between then and now. Like, we might see a Black Panther trailer tomorrow or something. And
Well,
there could be stuff they've been working on in secret.
We still have D23.
Yes and no. I'm wondering if that's going to be Phase 5, when we'll see Black Panther 2 and
or maybe
Guardians
like
3
they were
and
burned by
like that.
You're gonna get an Inhumans movie, and now they're like, we're not putting anything out until it is absolutely set in stone.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, yeah, we're gonna make Black Panther 2, but we don't like, you know, like the title isn't finalized, the quarter isn't finalized, we don't know when it's gonna be ready.
So on a counterpoint, Thor: Love and Thunder hasn't been written yet, and Taika Waititi was basically like, I'm calling it Thor: Love and Thunder, and they're all like, all right, fine, just do your thing.
Just put out there.
Yeah.
At the same time, I feel like you just gotta trust him.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, all right.
Yeah, he
right.
knocked Ragnarok out of the
It's
park.
probably my favorite MCU movie, honestly. Like,
Mhm.
the first Thor movies was like, oh, they're all right. Thor's all right. And then Ragnarok, and I was like, holy shit, Thor's my favorite. Korg's my favorite.
Yeah.
I love this movie. It's amazing.
Yeah, what an interesting trilogy where it's like, good, okay, what?
What?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
that's awesome.
how did
Chris
they do
Hemsworth is
this
funny?
one?
Single other series of films that progresses like that.
Yeah.
But
So
then we have another project that is not.
well,
It's kind of
before we mention that, yeah, I guess just to wrap up on the idea that so far this is everything that they know that is going to be in Phase 4. There could be one or two changes. Maybe something will get a different title. We don't know exactly. Or like we said, maybe Spider-Man will be put in there somewhere. But they've also said that this is going to be leading up to something. But we don't know what that is yet. And they haven't really said anything about that.
I'm feeling you on the Secret Invasion, not Secret Wars yet. I feel like Secret Wars is farther down. Secret
I think
Invasion,
Secret Invasion could
especially
be
because
really cool.
a lot of these like multiverse of madness and like however weird WandaVision gets, like it's kind of setting you up for you don't know that what you are looking at is true.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
that's this theme they're starting to build.
But we
starting
also
Been
don't
little
know.
hints along the way.
Yeah. We also don't know if that's going to be Avengers Secret Invasion. Is it going to be new Avengers Secret? Is it going to be young Avengers Secret Invasion? Is it going to be something else entirely? Or is it just going to be is it just going to be Marvel's Secret Invasion?
Mm-hmm.
Who knows?
Because, like, we've gotten hints, like, almost from the beginning, but, like, how long has Talos been Nick Fury? Like, we don't know that. Like, that, I feel like, is a bigger hint than we think it is to, like, what you are seeing may not be exactly what you are seeing. And then, like, when they went back in Endgame and, like, messed with everything, like, and with the most recent Spider-Man movie, like, I feel like there are a lot of little bitty things that we'll look back and we'll be like, holy crap, in the first Iron Man or in the first Avengers, like, we had no idea, but this should have clued us in.
Yeah.
We are going to be prestiged. I tell you this now.
Yeah.
They will rip the tablecloth out from underneath the vase of flowers on us.
Everything you know is wrong.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Eternals comes out and, like, everything we already know is mostly wrong. And then whatever they're leading up to, if it's Secret Invasion, is like, and boom, even more than you thought.
Yeah. And
I
so,
like how they are.
Go ahead.
No, like, this is one of the complaints about the MCU. Like, God, there's so much of it. It just keeps happening. It's so dense. It's the same thing over and over again. The fact that they're building all of this up, this is the perfect thing to blow down the house of cards.
Yeah.
Like, we are so dense and formulaic and regular and reliable over and over and over again. Now, what have you been looking at?
So we did mention Black Panther 2. We did mention Guardians of the Galaxy 3. We know those will be happening. We just don't know when, or if they're going to be in phase 4 or phase 5, who knows. But they did their one more thing moment, which I'm super stoked about. They brought Mahershala Ali on stage, be like, 2-time Academy Award winning. They made a point to say that. And then they announced that he has been cast as Blade.
I am so excited for
I've never
this.
seen Blade, but I want to now.
You should absolutely go
The
back and
Blades
watch
are interesting.
those
Yeah,
films.
go
They
check
are
out them
legitimately
Blades.
good.
Yeah.
Debatable for the third one, but
The third one has Ryan Reynolds in it, and his charm alone makes it worth the price of
I
admission.
heard the third one. I heard from my roommate who is very knowledgeable on nerdy things that the third one was awkward because the guy who plays Blade didn't want to act with anybody else.
Wesley Snipes, yeah,
so he was doing his own thing, and that doesn't quite make a good movie.
It wasn't the best film, but it was the first superhero film that everyone was like, oh shit, we can actually make these good. Like, these don't have to be cheesy or stuff like that. But that didn't necessarily catch on, because afterwards we still got the X-Men who looked like they belonged in the Matrix, and we still but like you can look back to Blade and be like, they actually took this seriously and they made a really good film.
It's the first Blade is almost a drama more than anything else.
Yeah.
I've been waiting to see if he could get introduced, because this is a franchise with so many weird things in it. Like, you've got the tree person, you've got all these shapeshifters, you have the raccoon, you have a man that can grow very, very small and very, very big. Throw that vampire in there. Yeah, vampires too. Like, just that also. I just want everybody to have to deal with, yeah, I know I've been to space and I fought this giant purple man with this magic glove, but vampires, really?
that doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
I heard that what he did, again from my roommate, that he basically like told his agent or told Marvel, he's like, I want to be Blade. And they were like, all right. I don't know if they already like had Blade in the works or if they were like, he's so good. But like, because he was Cottonmouth and he was so good, and now we're all like, this is why they killed off Cottonmouth, is so that he could be Blade.
Well, maybe not. I wish they didn't kill off Cottonmouth. So he's.
What are you talking about?
Yeah. So it's one of those weird things of like, is it in the MCU or is it not? Mahershala Ali plays a character by the name of Cottonmouth in Marvel's Luke Cage series on Netflix.
All right.
And so it's one of those things, because those Netflix shows do reference the MCU a lot. They reference the events of Avengers 1, the attack on New York. They make mention of Iron Man, Thor, stuff like that. So this is the first kind of crossover casting in that, but it's not the same, right? It's the same actor, but not the same character. So there you go. There's that. I'm super stoked. They basically were just like, yeah, he's cast. So that is that. That's all we know there. We're gonna be making a new Blade film, but we don't know when that is happening. So
it's gonna be good.
There you go. That is all the new MCU stuff that we've been talking for a long time now.
Yeah.
So
I have to pee so bad, guys.
Well, let's wrap things up there then. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Jess, where can the people find you on the interwebs?
Oh gosh, on Twitter I am legend_of_Jess, and I think my Instagram is Jess Bever.
Yeah.
I always forget my Instagram. I'm sorry. I don't know why I don't know it. It is. Yep. There's no A in Beaver.
Melissa, how about you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT.
And I am at Yo Kyle Springer on Twitter and Instagram. If you guys want to follow us for updates and stuff, we are at the Whatnauts on Twitter. TheWhatnauts.com is our website. You can get all sorts of more information. That was a terrible sentence. I've been doing that
all sorts
lately.
More information.
Where I do terrible sentences like that. We have other podcasts besides this here Captain's Log, so you guys can find more info about that on our website, as well as wherever you get your podcast. Just search the Whatnauts and all of our shows will pop up. And if you like what we do, patreon.com/the Whatnauts is where you can toss us a couple bucks. If you have no money to give, that's a-okay. We just want you guys to enjoy the shows.
Tell a friend.
At the $1 tier, however, you can get episodes early. You can get access to the exclusive live streams of the review show. And at the $3 tier, you can get access to all the exclusive content that we do. Melissa and I are going to be recording an exclusive episode of the review show covering For the Man Who Has Everything, which is Superman Annual number 11, as well as Justice League Unlimited episode 2. It's going to be a compare and contrast because it's both the same story there. So be on the lookout for that in the next couple weeks.
And our next episode we are recording of the review show is on DC Universe's Titans series. Yes. So if you're all marveled out and you want to balance the scales a little bit, we also have DC content.
Exactly. That being said, we also want to give a big shout out to the people at the $5 tier. So thank you to Sam and Christine for supporting us on Patreon. We love you guys and we appreciate the help a lot. That being said, this is episode 60 of the Captain's Log. Let's get out of here so we can all go pee and eat food and stuff like that.
Yes.
We will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end of that video. Thank you guys so much for watching it. It helps us out a ton. Go like, share, subscribe, sell your soul. You guys can go follow our channel, which is right up there. And you can go watch one of our other videos right down here. We got all sorts of other podcasts. Down in the comments below, let us know what your favorites, what you're most looking forward to in Marvel Phase 4, because we would love to hear. Till next time.